Well, I'd like to welcome back once again Captain Steve Concialdi. You know him for years. He was the Public Information Officer for the Orange County Fire Authority. He still fills in because they just bring him back whenever they can.
Thank you.
You have great PIOs, by the way.
Yes,
Larry Kurtz, and then the new one we haven't met yet, Tony
Bomarito. Wonderful PIO, and he's been busy in this last 2 or 3 weeks. He had the incident in Aliso Viejo.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of major fires and real bad traffic accidents, and then the Aliso Fire last Saturday. So he's been extremely busy, and just like it is, always is. It's like, welcome to the fire.
Yeah, well, we're going to hope to get him on in probably a couple of weeks or so.
Super.
But you're here to talk about the recent Aliso Fire, and this was, of course, sort of in the middle of Soca and then the Laguna Beach, top of the world area in that canyon there, right?
Right, so it happened around 1 o'clock on Saturday, which that is a busy, Aliso and Wood Canyon Wilderness Park.
Right.
It's a busy area. It's a beautiful park. There's hiking trails, there's mountain biking trails and everything. So that fire started midday, and fortunately there was no winds, no significant winds. So it was more what we call topography or slope driven. The fire quickly ran up both sides towards top of the world, as well as towards Soca University, and it was pretty dramatic. And so this was a significant fire. Fortunately, this was one of the only fires, large fires, that was going in Southern California. So we were able to, Orange County Fire, as well as the surrounding counties and cities, and there was every city in Orange County represented from all the different fire agencies.
Wow.
I mean, initially, we threw it, at the height of it, we had 525 personnel.
Wow.
And at one point we had 11 air tankers and 8 helicopters dedicated to keep basically the fire out of the homes and out of Soca University and the homes in Aliso Viejo and Laguna Beach.
And this is something that over the years that all the agencies that work together on this have really responded to much quicker, much heavier. It used to be, and I mean heavier right from the start, meaning bringing in all this equipment. It used to be years and years ago, you'd get there and, you know, not all this equipment, oh, you know, it's like 5 acres. It's a whole different mindset now, really over the last several years, right?
Right, the mindset is to keep most fires, or almost all fires, for under 10 acres.
Yeah.
So we hit it really hard from the ground as well as the air. Now this is steep, rugged territory back there in some areas, and it's inaccessible to our fire engines and our ground supports. That's why we rely on the helicopter and fixed wing. And to have 11 fixed wing and 8 helicopters, I mean, that's significant.
Yeah.
And at one point in the fire, those planes were on no divert, meaning they were committed. The 100% focus was on this fire and to keep that fire away from the homes.
Okay. So when something like this happens in this area in early June, no wind. I mean, there was some onshore breeze, but it was more of a breeze. A lot of people going, you know, what happened here? How did this start? Of course, you folks may not know this yet, but it becomes concerning because along with that, over the last few days, you had like a spot fire in Holy Jim, and I think there was one off the 133 the other day. I mean, tiny, but still, wow, you know, all these are happening very, very, very early in the season with mild weather.
Right, and so even Governor Brown basically said, we're year-round fire season. So we used to have a season, this is opening fire season. It just shows how dry it's been. Even though we've been extremely dry for a number of years, we had some rain earlier in the year and last year, but when a fire does start, it quickly grows. And that's why we need the assistance from the public. And Laguna Beach has done an excellent job, as well as Aliso Viejo, in fuel modification zones and fuel management. I was part of the 1993 Laguna Fire, and you know, hundreds of homes were burned there in Laguna Beach. And since then, the city of Laguna Beach, as well as the county, they've done an excellent job of providing defensible space around housing tracts, encouraging the residents to have defensible space around their homes, not allowing wood shake shingle roofs anymore to be put in. Because like we saw in the 2008 Freeway Complex fire, we saw ember intrusion. That was the buzzword at that fire. And at that point, when those homes were built years ago, the vent openings for their attic were 1/4 inch.
Right.
So now the standard is an 1/8 of an inch, where those small embers were getting in to the attics, landing on roofs, landing next to homes. So that's why we need the public's help. Even though we sent multiple fire engines, there was at one point 56 fire engines assigned.
Wow,
that's pretty significant.
Yeah,
and from all the surrounding counties.
we have a couple or 3 pictures here, and when I looked at these this morning, I was like, wow, Burbank, Arcadia, Monterey Park, and the reason I was like surprised at that is, well, unfortunately, nowadays, a 150-acre fire, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, 175 acres.
Is now considered almost, a manageable small fire, unfortunately, because we've seen these giant ones. But it's nice to see that you have what's called the mutual aid all comes in, they all work together. Just like OCFA is going to go up to LA County or up to Northern California if needed.
Exactly. So Orange County participates in the Master Mutual Aid plan for the state. It is the best in the nation. And so basically we share resources. So we had fire engines from all the surrounding counties as well as Santa Barbara County. Because when they had the Thomas Fire in December of last year, we sent a number of resources up to the Thomas Fire, and they do the same. Because right now that was a significant fire, threatened homes in Aliso Viejo and Laguna Beach, but we were able to attack it hard from the ground and the air to keep that fire as small as possible, because it's the potential. We saw with the Canyon 1 fire and the Canyon 2, the difference about those 2 fires was the winds.
Yeah.
So I was at both of those fires. The Canyon 1 fire, it was more slope driven. It hadn't burned in a number of years, so we saw these quick runs, explosive, growth of the fire, but we didn't have the strong winds behind it. So our firefighters were able to get in there and protect the homes as well as the aircraft. But in the Canyon 2 fire, there was nothing we could do. We had significant wind, and that quickly blew that fire towards Anaheim Hills, the Anaheim area, and that's why there was homes that were lost. Nothing that any of the firefighters could do. You cannot slow a fire down when you have significant winds like that. We just have to do the best we can. So that's why we need the residents to do their part, to have that defensible space, and the homeowners associations and the cities are doing an excellent job of helping us with those fuel management areas.
Yeah, and that's extremely important wherever you live in Southern California. I mean, we both know that because we live in areas where we have canyons near us. So we're kind of in the same predicament. But the fact that you folks, meaning all of you within the Orange County Fire Authority and LA, the Mutual, everyone comes down and gets on these things so much quicker than what they did, back in 10 years ago.
Correct.
Is incredible.
And I'm pleased to announce that Laguna Niguel Regional Park, it opened yesterday.
Okay.
And then, it actually opened today.
Is that what this park is called?
Well, no. So I'm driving here and I'm getting the update. So basically, Laguna Niguel Regional Park opened today. And then that's where we had our command center. Okay. So that's right off of La Paz. Beautiful park there. We were dipping from the pond there, water, our helicopters. That was one of the many spots our helicopters basically sucked in water and to be able to fight the fire. And then the Aliso and Wood Canyons Wilderness Park. That's where this fire was. It was between top of the world and Aliso Viejo. That's going to open tomorrow. So Marisa O'Neill from OC Park, she's their PIO. So as I'm driving here, she was going to the office and sending me the updates. There will be some trails that are still closed. And those trails are Nature Loop, Dripping Cave, Coyote Run. And we just ask that people to stay off of those trails just to allow the natural vegetation just to regrow, and in time it will.
All right, and you're still, I guess, do you still have investigators out there?
Well, no, we closed this. We turned it to last night at 8 p.m.
Okay.
We turned it over to OC Parks. So the park rangers are there. Now today, we still have a patrol driving around, checking out the area. So the residents in that area, you will see dust at times, especially when the winds kick up.
Okay.
But right now, the fire is completely out. And again, there'll be dust in the area probably for a few weeks.
Okay. You know, I always wanted to ask, with the fixed-wing aircraft, where do they get their water from? Do they actually go out in the ocean and scoop it up?
So the super scoopers do that.
Okay.
So every year, LA County will have a contract.
Right.
And we could use those on request here. But the air tankers have to go back to their base, and they have to refill there.
Oh, they actually get...
Right,
okay.
But it is amazing the turnaround. Those guys are highly professional, highly trained pilots, so they're able to drop the retardant on the fire or near the fire to protect like Soka or the homes, and then they're able to turn around, and in a short amount of time they refill and they're back.
Okay, there are bases nearby here?
Well, they're out, and there's a Hemet base, and there's a few bases around in Ramona and so forth that they come from.
All right, very good. Thank you again. You know, it's always good to see you.
Good to see you, Ken.
Yeah, and I know we'll always see Steve again, and hopefully very soon we get the new PIO on and meet him. And I think next time around we'll probably talk about this time of the year, drowning, and how serious that is, and how it's usually 100% preventable.
It is, and we still have it.
Yeah.
So right now it's warm. Fortunately, we live in a great area here in Orange County. We have pools, access to beautiful beaches, but we have these preventable drowning incidents that happen way too often.
Yeah, very good. All right, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Ken.
Take care, say hi to the family. We'll be right back.